Hello, I'm Waffles Are Better. In this video I'll be showing you how to create or modify loot tables in Minecraft Java Edition. And using loot tables you will be able to create your own custom chest loot like this. Notice that I just placed this chest down and it is full of a random amount of diamonds and emeralds, and there's also this renamed potato and this enchanted netherite hoe with special durability. You can see that every time I open one of these chests I've placed down, everything is in a different spot. But loot tables are not only used for chests. Loot tables are also used for the items that you get when you break a block, or when you kill a mob, or basically any time in the game where you get an item, including fishing and getting gifts from cats and villagers. So using loot tables, you can either modify the base game's loot, or you can make your own loot for a data pack, or you can even use this for making mods if you want. So here I have set up an example data pack named loot tables. So of course you're going to need the pack.mc meta file. If you don't know how to do this, I will have a video linked that tells you how to do everything in here. But you're going to need a data folder, of course, because this is a data pack. And inside of data, you're going to need a namespace. If you've made data packs before, you know that you can name whatever you want. I've just named my namespace example. And then inside of your namespace, of course, you're going to need a new folder called loot_tables. And so just remember that if you're trying to replace a regular vanilla Minecraft loot table, the namespace is going to need to be called Minecraft, and then you're going to need to follow the correct file path from the default Minecraft data folders, which I will also have a link to, probably an iCard, telling you how to get all of the default files. Inside of loot tables, as you probably just saw here in the default Minecraft files, there are some folders for different categories. You might want to do something like this. Notice that there are some subcategories in the gameplay folder. So what you're probably going to want to do, just to keep some stuff organized, is to make a category folder that will correspond to what your loot table is used for. So say that I just want to make some chest loot tables for a custom structure, because custom structures are probably going to be added back in 1.18.2. So I'm going to call this chests. And as you can see, you can make another subfolder if you like, or you can just go ahead and create your loot table file, which is what I'm going to do. So new file, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, example_chest.json. Here basically what you're going to want to do is put a curly bracket, and this is where all the stuff is going to go, of course. So the first thing is optional. You can do type, and this is just going to tell the game what type of loot table you are making. So there are 12 possible types. First one is empty, and this one just doesn't mean anything in particular. And the next one is chest, and this is for if you want to make a chest or a barrel or some other kind of container loot. Next is command, and this is for if you want to use the loot table for a command, like the item modify command. Next is selector, and this is used for predicates. Then there is also fishing, and this is used for, of course, fishing. There is entity, and this is going to be stuff that entities drop on death. And then there is gift. This is a gift from a cat or a villager. Barter is for bartering with piglins. Advancement_reward is for rewards for advancement. There's also advancement_entity. This is for when you have a loot condition in an advancement. Then there is generic, and this is unused. And then the last one is block, and this is what drops when you break a block. So what I'm going to use is chest, because I'm making a chest loot table. And so after the type, you can put functions, and basically this is going to be a square bracket with functions inside. And functions will modify any item that is created in the loot table. But you can also do this separately for each item. I will go over a few of the most common functions in a minute once I get to the by item functions. just know that you can put functions up here to apply to all items instead if you would like. And the next part is the part that's going to contain all the stuff that is actually going to be generated by the loot table, and that is called pools. And then you're going to want a square bracket. So inside of pools, you can just put a curly bracket, and inside of the curly bracket, there's several things that you can do. So the first thing that you can put is conditions. And basically what this does is it has a list of conditions that must be met if the loot table is going to generate. Some examples are location checks to check like what biome the container is in, or I know this is used for fishing because some things can only be caught in jungles, for example. And there's also a bunch of other stuff that can go in here, but that's a little advanced, so I'm going to make a second video on that because the same thing is used for predicates, so separating the videos makes sense to me. So if you're looking for more advanced loot table stuff, that will be linked in an iCard when that video comes out. So since I'm not actually going to be going over conditions in this video, I'm going to go ahead and delete this section. And here you're going to want to put roles. And what roles is going to do is determine how many times this pool is going to make an output. So say you have a chest and you want there to be 2 different slots in the chest taken up by an item in this pool. So then you would put 2.0 for the rolls, and that way 2 of the items in the chest would be taken up by one of these things. You can also put a number provider if you want it to be more randomized. So you can put type to be either binomial, constant, score, or uniform. So of course, constant is just going to be one constant number, so value is 1. So say that I just want 1 roll, or I just want 2 rolls. Change this to uniform, and then instead of value, you would put minimum and maximum. So say I have min and max. You would then have a minimum of, say, maybe you want between 1 roll and 4 rolls. This way, 1 to 4 items in this chest would be taken up by something from the loot table. You can also use binomial and score to choose a random number or to check a scoreboard. For binomial, this is going to be n and p. N is going to be the number of trials, so I'll just put 5, and P is the probability of success, so I don't know, put 10. And I haven't really used this before, so I don't know exactly what it does. And the last one is going to be score, and this is going to be just the score of a player or entity using the scoreboard system. So you'd have here target, and then inside of target, going to put type. So this is probably going to be fixed, and then here you're going to put name. Then this is just going to be the name of the specific entity. So I don't know, waffles are better. Then this would get what my score is, and then score, and this is going to be the scoreboard objective. So I don't know, test. But this way, the amount of items from the loot table could be set to an individual score. Another thing that you can do is change type to context, and instead of name, you would have target. And so this, instead of being a specific person, is going to be this, which I believe would find the score of the person opening the chest. There's also killer, which would find the score of the entity that killed the entity that's dropping something if you're using entity loot table for mob drops. There's also direct killer and player killer to filter out different kinds of things. But anyways, back to the constant number, I'll set the rolls to 2. You also need bonus underscore rolls, and this is going to be how many extra rolls you would get per point of luck. So this is based off of the luck effect. I'm just going to set this to 0.0. Don't need any extra bonus rolls. Finally, we're going to get to the entries, and this is where you actually specify all the stuff that is going to be generated by the loot table. So in here, you're going to put a curly bracket, and inside of the curly bracket, you're going to want to put type. This is going to be one of 8 things. And actually, before I go into the types, I'm going to add a name, because we're going to need to talk about that too. So the first type, which you're most likely to actually use, is item. Oops, item, like that. And for item, the name is going to just be the actual name of the item. So for example, Minecraft, and then, I don't know, Acacia Boat, since that's the first thing that comes up. So the second option is going to be tag, and this is going to be a specific item tag. So instead of a specific item, that's going to be one of the tags that the game offers, or a custom item tag. Say you only wanted the loot table to generate fences for some reason, but you didn't care what kind of fence, then you could put this. You can then have one more option, which is expand. And what expand is going to do is, if you set it to true, that will make it so it chooses a random item from the tag, and if you set it to false, it will just generate every item from this tag inside of the chest. So another type is loot underscore table, and this is going to find loot from another loot table. So if you wanted to include multiple loot tables in one loot table for some reason, you could do that. So in that case, instead of a block or a tag, you would just put the name of another loot table. So if you put Minecraft blocks Acacia button, that would make it so this generates the loot that drops when you mine an Acacia button. So the type can also be group, and if it's group, instead of having name here, you're going to have another value called children, and then a square bracket. And then in here, you're going to have curly brackets, and then this is just going to be like what we had before. So type, let's just say item, and name, just, I don't know, Acacia button. And then you can have several of these. So if I copy this and paste down here, since it is a group type, it's going to do all of these. So that way you would get both an Acacia button and how about, I don't know, an Acacia fence. If I change this from group to alternatives, it's then going to work exactly the same, except this way only the first successful entry will be dropped. So if there's a condition that makes it so one of these isn't dropped, then it'll just drop the next one that is available to use. Then you can also make it sequence. It will then include everything in the loot table until one of the things that it tries to create has a condition that makes it so it can't be created, and then it won't create anything after that. So say for some reason, let's say there's a third entry, group would drop all of these, alternatives would drop this one unless there's something that is keeping this one from generating, in which case it would use this one and then this one, just in order. And then sequence will also drop all of these unless, for example, say there's something that's keeping this one from dropping, in which case it won't generate anything after this one. So the last two ones are going to be dynamic, and this is going to be basically the same as the item one. So you're just going to need to put name, but it can be only used for blocks, and I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between this one and the regular item one. And then lastly, if I delete that, the last type is empty, and if you use empty, it just won't drop anything at all. So I'm going to go back to the item one, and I'm just going to set the name to diamond. So now I've basically got a functional loot table. If I use this loot table right now, it will put 2 diamonds in this chest. And those 2 diamonds will be in 2 separate locations. So 2 different slots in the chest will have a singular diamond in it. There's another thing though, because if you go ahead and copy this and then paste it and say emerald, how about we change the rolls up to 27? because that way it'll fill the entire chest. So that way every item in the chest will be either a diamond or an emerald. There is then also another parameter that you can add called weight, and what this is going to do is just determine how likely it is that a diamond will generate over an emerald. So let's just say that we want the weight for the diamond to be 3, and then if I go ahead and copy this and paste it down here, I'm gonna set the weight for the emeralds to be 1. So that means for every emerald there should be 3 diamonds. On average, of course, because it's still random. And while I am waiting for Minecraft to load, I'm actually going to modify this one more time just to show you how this works. I'm going to copy the pool, and I'm going to change the roll to 1 here, and the roll to 26 here. And then, instead of a diamond, this is going to be a potato, and I'm just going to remove the weight because it isn't needed in a 1-entry pool. So I'm going to save that, and now I should get a chest with 26 diamonds and emeralds and 1 potato. So I have loaded up a world with a data pack, and I'm going to give myself a chest with the loot table that I just created. So to do that, I'm going to do /give waffles are better chest, and then block entity tag, and then in here I believe loot table, and this is just going to be the name of the loot table. So that would be example, my namespace, chests, and then I believe example underscore chest. And then let's see, did that work? Yes, it did work. Okay, so you can see here that I have a bunch of diamonds and emeralds in this chest and 1 potato. And there are more diamonds than emeralds, so if I take out all the diamonds and all the emeralds, you can see it should be about 3 diamonds to 1 emerald, but as you can see, it isn't exactly accurate because it is random. So if I go over here, I can get another chest, more diamonds, more emeralds, and a potato, and they are all in different places than before. So in this chest, it's different than in this chest, and in this chest, it's different than in this chest. And you'll notice that in every single one of these chests, you are going to find a potato, but the diamonds and emeralds are taking up every other space in the chest. And that is because if I go back to the loot table, you'll notice that that is in a separate roll. So since this one has 1 roll, you'll see that every single time that I place a chest, there will definitely be a potato. And since this one has 26 rolls every single time, you'll see that every time I place a chest, I get 26 slots that are full of either a diamond or an emerald. And so that's basically how loot tables work. It works the same for when you kill entities, and the same for fishing and breaking blocks, and all that kind of stuff that loot tables are used for. Basically, anytime you're getting an item out of something, there's a loot table involved. So I'm back to the loot table. I'm going to set this down to 25, and I'm going to add 1 more roll. I guess this is just going to be, how about a netherite? Oh, I think that would be a good item. And so I'm going to keep the rolls at 1, so this way the chest will still be completely filled. But now I am going to add a function. So I'm going to add functions, and then a square bracket, and inside of that, some curly brackets. So here, of course, you're going to have a function, and this is just going to be the name of the function. So there are a bunch of these. I'm only going to go over the ones that you are most likely to use right now, because a bunch of the other ones are better for the /item modified command and stuff like that. So you probably won't be needing them for loot tables. So the first one is going to be enchant underscore randomly. This is just going to give you a random enchantment, and then after that you can put enchantments, and this is going to be a list of enchantment IDs. So if I want the netherite hoe to be enchanted with efficiency, I can put efficiency and then fortune, or whatever. And so it will randomly choose one of these two enchantments. I can also just leave out the enchantments category and it'll choose a random enchantment that is compatible with the item. So for example, it couldn't add thorns, but it could add efficiency or silk touch or whatever. The next function is going to be another enchantment one, but it's going to be enchant underscore with underscore levels. And first thing that you're going to do is put levels, and this is going to be a number provider similarly to those that I went over earlier. So you can just put, I don't know, 2 if you want to enchant it with a level 2 enchantment, or like 10 if I want to enchant it with a level 10 enchantment, or you can do this kind of thing and put a type and a minute to max like I showed earlier. Then after this you're going to put treasure, and this is going to be true or false. So if it's true, that means it can use treasure enchantments, and treasure enchantments are the 2 curses, which are Vanishing and Binding, or Mending, or Soul Speed, or Frostwalker. And so basically what this is going to do is the same thing that an enchantment table would do for random enchantments. So if you want to get better enchantments, make the levels higher. Lastly, if you want to be really specific with the enchantment, you can do set underscore enchantments. And then you're still going to want enchantments, except now it's going to be a curly bracket instead of a square bracket. And in here, you're just going to want to put the name of the enchantment. So say I want to put efficiency, and then the level of the enchantment, say I want to put 5. So then I would have the enchantment as efficiency 5. Then after enchantments, I'm going to put one more thing, which is add, and this is either true or false. So you're probably going to want to put true because it isn't going to have any enchantments on it in the first place. Because I believe if you put false, it'll just set the existing efficiency level to 5. But if it already has an enchantment level like efficiency 2 and you put add as true, then it'll add 5 to that, so it'll be efficiency 7. I'm also going to add another function, and this time it's going to be to the potato. So I'm going to add a comma. I'm going to add functions, and then a square bracket, and then a curly bracket, and in here I'm going to put that the function is set underscore name, and then down here I'm going to put name, and then a colon, and then a curly bracket, and inside of there is going to be text, and the text is just going to be cool potato, and I'm going to make sure that italic is false, because usually when you rename an item, it's going to make italic true, just like if you rename it in an anvil. I am also going to go ahead and add a function to the emeralds and diamonds, but instead of adding the function to the item itself, I'm going to add a function to all of the items in the pool. So I'm going to put a square bracket, and then a curly bracket, and then function, oops, that needs to be on the outside, and also there needs to be a comma here. But anyways, the function is going to be set underscore count, and this is going to make sure that there is more than 1 diamond or emerald in each stack. The count is going to be, let's just say, type is going to be uniform, and min is going to be 1, max is going to be, I don't know, 10. So each stack of diamonds and emeralds will have 1 to 10 diamond or emerald in it. And then there is going to be one more thing. I'm going to add a second function to the netherite hoe. So let's just copy and paste that. Instead of set enchantments, it's going to be set underscore damage. And instead of enchantments, this is going to be damage. And we're going to put type in here, and uniform, and then min is going to be 0.5, oops, I put an O instead of a 0, and then max is going to be 1.0. And so 0.0 means fully damaged, and 1.0 means completely undamaged. So that way the hoe will be either half damaged or completely undamaged. And I'm going to delete add, because that would change that relative to the current damage, and I just want to set it without being relative to anything. So this loot table has got a bit more complicated, but hopefully it all makes sense. I'm going to save it and try it out in the game. So I have gone ahead and loaded up the world with the new version of the data pack. So if I place this chest down again, you will see that it has been updated, and instead of 1 diamond or emerald in every spot, there is between 1 and 10, and the potato has been renamed to a cool potato, and there's now a netherite hoe with efficiency 5 that is slightly damaged. So again, if I go over here, you'll see that actually they have about the same. Yeah, this one's a little bit more damaged. Potatoes in a different spot, and all the diamonds and emeralds have different numbers in their stacks. Same over here. Netherite hoe is more damaged. You'll see that every time I place it, it is between full durability and half durability. Let's see if I can get one with closer to half durability. Getting pretty lucky on the durability of these things. Yeah, that's closer to half durability. But anyways, so, these diamonds and these emeralds, that's 40 diamonds and 12 emeralds, are what I got from, I believe, 2 different chests? Yeah, 2 different chests. If I take just the diamonds and emeralds out of one of these chests, you're gonna see that that's a lot more diamonds and emeralds than you'd be getting from even 2 of these chests. Yeah, so that, along with the netherite hoe, and obviously this really cool potato, is what makes this chest too overpowered. So you probably wouldn't actually use this in a real data pack, but at least you can tell that this looks like a much better loot table than this one. It's less boring. Every item has a different amount of stuff in the stack, and of course in the regular game you would probably have not every slot filled up with something. Anyways, this is just an example. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions about anything I covered in this video, or if you have any suggestions for future videos, you can let me know in the comments, or you can join my Discord server linked in the description and talk to me about that kind of stuff there. I hope you found this video helpful, and I really appreciate you watching it, so thank you so much for watching.